Alright, hello there. My name's Milo, and we've got an exciting game today, Donkey Kong Land. I know I've transitioned from the official Rare games into fan games, but this new upgrade patch for the Game Boy game Donkey Kong Land was just released recently, so it's a great time to check it out. And also it's, you know, it's kind of a fan work on its own. It's a fan, a guy I know, Andrew, who came in and did a lot of custom stuff under the hood in the ROM. I'll talk about it as we continue. But yeah, basically converting Donkey Kong Land from a Game Boy game to a Game Boy Color game, and with a lot of other improvements along the way. Not just adding some extra shades to the palette. Yeah. So let me just get set up here. Hopefully Andrew will actually show up in chat. But if not, he recently did a stream for the DK Vine channel, and I've just watched that yesterday, and there's a lot of interesting info in that stream, as well as entertaining banter. So yeah, I'd recommend checking that out too. So this is the patch ROM with the new color upgrade applied. Ape calls it the new colors mode after Tropical Freeze Switch ports new funky mode. This is a reference to that. But just to show you, I'll do a quick launch of the original game and see what Ape has changed. I am using the Mac port of the emulator KIGB. The game runs differently under different emulators and systems and stuff. Ape says that a good way to play it is actually injecting the patched version into the 3DS Virtual Console player. But anyway, KIGB is one of my favorites. It is easy to switch between color and like a Game Boy Color and a Super Game Boy mode. So if I do that and then reset, we'll get that nice title screen. This is what it looked like on a real Super Game Boy in your Super Nintendo. You gotta wait a little bit to start. Oh, my controller's not on, of course. There we go. Yeah, so on the original Super Game Boy, you do have palettes like this. Oh yeah, I played up to this point recently to look at Happy Crab. But yeah, you can see it's monochrome a lot of the time in certain levels. Oh, I can't quit because I haven't beaten this one yet. In certain levels, it can be hard to distinguish the foreground and the background. That's one of the main complaints with Donkey Kong Land. So let's see, what's a jungle level? Maybe this one? Yeah. So things kind of blend into each other. It's a little bit better on the Super Game Boy. You have some colors being applied. But yeah, let's get back into the full colorization patch, turning it into a Game Boy Color game that Ape did. Oops, my emulator crashed. Woohoo! I'll just get that back up. Yeah, so Orson Z is in chat saying Donkey Kong Land DX. Let's go. Yeah, that's basically what it is. Oh no. Hold on a second. This was working before. It's okay, I'll just do this. All good. Oh no, are you serious? It's now crashing every time. Oh great. Well, Ape's here. Hello, Ape. And Gibbon, hello. Hello, I did the color. It's got them now. Yeah. Well, hopefully I can get it working. Oh, I know why it's crashing. It's crashing because I set it to be a Super Game Boy, and Ape didn't account for that. I didn't switch it back. So as long as you tell it that it's a color Game Boy, you're all good. So like I said, certain emulators can have problems playing this. This screen is all new. Ape recoded it from scratch to add a few lines about the patch. But yeah, as Ape was saying in the DK Vine stream, the original game of Donkey Kong Land has problems when you play it on a Game Boy Color. There's sprite tearing issues that result from a complicated thing to do with video memory and stuff. And certain emulators are not respecting how the Game Boy Color handled Game Boy games. But I've found through a bit of testing on different emulators, KIGB is one of those inaccurate emulators that runs the game better than a normal hardware would, than the actual hardware would. So this performance is going to be smooth and look good in KIGB, so that's great. So here we are on the map screen. We can see one of the big changes is, different palettes for different parts of the background. That's really nice. Ape handpicked all the colors for every screen in the game, basically, in every environment. He's also added the names in the bottom right corner that wasn't there before, using an extra bank of memory in the Game Boy Color or something. We're able to display, or he was able to display, the names which are listed in the manual but not in the game itself. We also have a new menu. Press select on the map screen. Whoops. Alright, I'll show you that later. I guess maybe I don't have select map or something. Ugh. But let's get into it. Yeah, Orson Z has noticed the sprite tearing before. Yeah, it's a problem. It's actually a problem that Ape said is acknowledged by Nintendo themselves on a website somewhere, saying that if you try and play X, Y, and Z games on a Game Boy Color that are original Game Boy games, they might not work properly. And it's to do with how Rare coded it. They didn't know that the Game Boy Color would be coming out and would change how things work. Yeah. So that's just a problem with real hardware and also with some emulators if they're more accurate. Ape has shown me that by doing that stream that you can beat the whole game 100% in a little over 2 hours if you're good at it. So I'm going to aim for that myself today and try and get all the bonuses, but it might not happen. The fun thing about the bonuses in this game is they all transport you to a different kind of archetype. There's a different background that doesn't correspond to the level you're on, and it can introduce or ease you into different mechanics and stuff. Yeah, DK Land is just really cool in that way. So as you can see, that was a little bonus room that had the underwater, I think the Kremlantis environment. And while we're in the jungle still, this is the one palette in the game that Ape did not do just by picking the colors himself based on what would look good. This is based on the jungle levels in Donkey Kong Country Game Boy Color, the port, which I played a few weeks back on stream. So yeah, okay, cool. This is new too, the time attack. At the end of the level, it will tell you how quickly you did it and your previous best time. So that's really cool. What other features were added? The menu. I'll try and get that up. Is that mapped? Okay, that's mapped. Great. Just check. Select. Yeah, select isn't mapped. Okay, there it is. We've got it now. Ape says that a lot of the bonus rooms are reused level palettes from other levels, just set to only use the first color in the set. Yeah, fair enough. So, press select on the map screen and you have a nice, some nice new features, some of which were added just to fill out this menu, according to Ape. Oh, that says version 1.0. I thought I got the 1.01. Yeah, whatever. It's only a small difference. We're going to turn speed hack on. This is using the capabilities of the Game Boy Color to reduce the natural slowdown that is present in Donkey Kong Land. It doesn't play nice with every single emulator, which is why it's a toggle in this menu. I'm getting some doubled inputs, which is a little worrying, but now I don't know what the default was, but you can change what color the Kongs appear just by cycling through this. That's really cool. And level list, this tells you, well, for one thing, it displays the world names, which are also printed in the manual and nowhere else. Gangplank Galleon Ahoy is the first world. It'll tell you how many of the bonus rooms you found and your best time for that level. Very cool stuff. As well as displaying the level name in a larger font. Oh, how do I leave this screen, Ape? It's not responding now. Well, I did make a save state before, so I'll just load that. Oh, has my emulator crashed? Well, that would just be peachy, wouldn't it? Yep, I've got a rainbow spinner. Yeah, it crashed, I guess. Dang. I didn't know I'd be having these problems today. Everything worked fine in my testing phase. Oh boy. Okay. That one, we're back. It's picked it up, that's great. And we made that save state. All right, so I am running the 1.01 patch, but Ape said that he forgot to update the screen on the menu. That's okay. Right, on to level 2. These coins, they're new for Donkey Kong Land, so we can talk about some of the new mechanics in DKL compared to DKC1 on the SNES. I think it's really cool that they didn't have a model at this point. Later on, the land games would basically copy all the content from the country game. This is for 2 and 3. And new level designs, but reusing a lot of stuff. In this case, oh, yeah, cool. Whoa, I missed. That's okay. I don't think we're going to be hurting for lives. DK Land throws tons of lives at you. It should be fine. Yeah, so with DK Land, they did a lot of cool stuff with making new content specifically for it. Minor examples, this checkpoint, instead of a barrel, it's a little portal thing. If you die and then come back, it sort of flips down and you fall out of it. It's really nice little effect. Those coins that I've been picking up with DK and Diddy's heads on them, they're a new mechanic for this game. There's special bonus rooms that you can sort of cash those in to get lives with a little skill game. So it's a new currency, the way that 2 and 3 had their banana coins and bear coins. At this point, it's only for getting extra lives, which again is still abundant, but yeah, it's just a fun extra thing to add. This is another thing I've noticed in Donkey Kong Land. At the end of the game, you often get these banana formations. I don't know what they mean. Maybe they spell something on the long term that looked like an O, but I can't keep track of that. Another mechanic that we're noticing now is if you get all the Kong letters in a stage, you don't get an extra life. Instead, you get the opportunity to save, and that's the only way to save your game, is by completing a level with all the Kong letters. It's a little odd. Robert Gunderson is here in chat. Hello. Saying, oh, this is neat. I beat Donkey Kong Land today. Good to see something being done with it. Yeah, and if you ever want to play it again, this is a great way to do it with Ape's new colors mode hack, available on romhacking.net. And yes, I did notice that when playing this Ape. I said how KIGB is quite smooth, has good performance when playing this game, but it doesn't display screen fade-outs as it properly should. So if you load into a level, it's very quick, which is nice, makes it feel responsive, but it's supposed to have a screen fade transition. But yeah, as Gibbon says in chat, Ape did a really wonderful job with this hack. I want to congratulate him on a great job here. A lot of work went into this, and I watched some of it happening over Discord. Yeah, and it ended up with an excellent final product. And well, Ape's a big ROM hacker. He's done a lot of translations for games. His most recent one was a Shin Megami Tensei Game Boy game, is it? But yeah, he's done a lot of cool stuff and more in the pipeline too. So we'll just pop down here. Yep. Sometimes when there's an odd colored patch on the ground, that's the entrance to a bonus room. Now I should have pointed it out a second ago, but yeah, the other drawback to KIGB is I don't have a rewind button. But it's odd in Donkey Kong Land how the banana bunches are really massive. The bananas are quite kind of elongated as well. But, oops, yeah, dang. But yeah, the banana bunches just look really big for some reason. And they also use a different palette. So Ape wasn't able to get them looking the same as the bananas in all the cases. But, you know, there were a lot of difficulties with making this patch. Because, yeah, it's something that Paul Makachek never intended. And it's fun seeing Ape interacting on Twitter with Paul. So this is what I mean. You can see how they look quite different. Anyway, yeah, there you go. Oops. Never mind. In DKC1 and DK Land, you don't need to pass a bonus to have it count towards your completion total. You just have to have been in the room. Getting there is the challenge. Yeah. Halfway portals, they're very cool. Whoops, okay. Careful now. Nice. That's the other thing about DK Land. The physics feel a bit wonky. Whoops. Yeah, cool. It's an interesting game in a lot of ways. Here we go. Here's one of those cash-in rooms. So by stepping on this button, the barrel, while rotating, shoots out one of your coins, bringing the total down. And if you grab the coin, you get an extra life. And I've already almost filled up my little row down there. The heart system, of course, taken from Battletoads, question mark, in the banana shape there. Yeah, it seems to be a holdover from Battletoads. I saw people speculating in the DK Vine stream whether it's specifically something that was taken from a Game Boy version of a Battletoads game. There's 3 Battletoads games on Game Boy. As far as I could tell, it's not directly taken from any of them. Because the hearts, you do have hearts in those games to denote extra lives, but they sort of appear to be short and squat looking. The appearance of these hearts more matches the NES Battletoads, sort of elongated like that. But obviously it's not going to be a direct coding holdover in that case. They wouldn't have shared much. In fact, Ape has said, having now looked into Donkey Kong Land 2, that it's got a completely new engine from what Donkey Kong Land 1 was running on. So I'm now on the first ship level, which is the first unique archetype that was present in Donkey Kong Land that wasn't in Donkey Kong Country. You did have the pirate ship boss fight against K. Rool, of course. But the idea of having... Oh, gosh. Yeah. Never mind. The idea of having a platforming stage on a ship deck is something that happened in Donkey Kong Country 2, of course, but it happened here first. And it has kind of different ideas about how that would work, actually. It's kind of a combination of the ship deck and the ship mast archetypes, which are split up in DKC2. It's got these sort of odd... Well, it's got transferring between the ropes, which is, yeah, something you could do in 2, which is kind of a callback to Donkey Kong Jr. But when you see these sort of circular things on top of the ropes, that means you can't climb up through or jump up through that rope. It's a little indication of what you can and can't do in the platformer. Yeah, the other thing to note that this reminds me of this level is that a while ago, last year sometime, I was playing Donkey Kong Country bootlegs, and that was a huge amount of fun. Chinese knockoff games on the NES that were based on Donkey Kong Country and stuff. There was one called Super Donkey Kong. Oh, great. So that's a problem. This is a very vertically oriented level, but there's something about Donkey Kong Land's engine and updating the camera and your position and stuff. If you fall too far too fast, you just die. There's a sort of kill plane beneath you that just exists because of the way the camera engine works or something. It's pretty frustrating, especially in some later levels. You can fall only what seems to be a short distance and just completely die and restart the level. Yeah. Doesn't feel like DKC2 at all, which also had vertically oriented levels, but was able to keep up with you in that way. Yeah, so Super Donkey Kong, a NES game which I played, was based on Donkey Kong Land. It had 4 levels in it, and 3 of them were just the first level of that type from the archetypes that exist in this game, including that ship level. So I've actually played that level on stream before through an unlicensed NES bootleg. So this is another new mechanic to this game. It only happens a couple of times, but at the end of some levels you get a bomb, and then you put the bomb down and it blows open a path for you through the rocks that are there. So what I might do if I miss any bonuses, I'll just keep going, and if I get to the end of the game having missed some, I'll come back and get them. That's what I'll do in case it takes me too long to beat the game. So to catch up on chat a little bit, sorry about that. Ape says, time attack works by clearing your playtime at the start of the level and adding them together at the end, which is something that he said on the DK Vine stream too, and I still don't really understand how that works with those words in that sentence. But yeah, clearing your playtime at the start of the level and adding them together at the end. Yeah, I don't get it. Robert Gunderson says, it's also odd how originally the level names were only in the manual. Indeed, that's an addition to this hack. Ape has added them to the map screen as well. And Ape commenting on the ship levels in this game. They're a bit too long. He's not a fan of them, which, yeah, that's a fair criticism. This game is a little bit unbalanced in some ways. Some levels are really long. I noticed this during your stream. And then some can be beaten very quickly indeed. So in the last world, there's two levels right next to each other. One is incredibly long and can take you a very long time to do, and then the next one you just blow through in a few minutes. It's very strange, but that's just one of the things that gives Donkey Kong Land its charm. And here's another. Some enemies have all new sprites. The zinger has been adjusted to be sort of sitting upright, possibly to make it smaller so it fits in one kind of sprite area or whatever, you know, making it easier to fit into stuff. I don't know, games, graphics, things, you know what I mean. I just need to go a bit further on. I think a rope is going to come out of there. That seems to be what they usually hide in the floors. You could get all sorts of things in Donkey Kong Country out of the floors, but in this it seems to be only the floating ropes that take you to a bonus, which is unique to this game. That was a very green looking cave. Yeah, Robert Gunderson, having just played the game with a good perspective here, saying the last ship level I found to be a bit of a difficulty spike, while World 2 in general was a little more mellow. Yeah, so you always watch out for these blast barrels. They can give you a shortcut or a little bonus room. And Donkey Kong Land likes to hide the Kong letters in the bonus rooms. Oops. Okay. So one of the graphical... You kidding me? I think I fell in that pit, but I'm not sure. Either way, it was pretty rude. Just a bit of Donkey Kong Land-ism there. Horizontal momentum is not so good. Okay, cool. Yeah. Robert kind of noticing that oddness happening there. Okay. So I was going to say, oh yeah, I missed the bonus room that time, so I didn't get the end, but that's okay. Oh, you're kidding. I'm going to start using save states. This is not something that Ape did. He went through the whole thing without saving and reloading, which is very admirable, but I do not have that power myself. Oops. Ugh, curses. I'll only use it if I actually make some progress though. Oh yeah, and this has all the same rules with enemy interaction. If an army is rolling, DK can still beat it in one hit. Diddy will have to hit it twice. So a lot of stuff is carried over from Donkey Kong Country. But there's a lot of cool new stuff too, and that's why I love Donkey Kong Land. One of the reasons. Yeah, okay. So since we're... yeah, I'll just return there. Since we're hearing some nice, lovely music here, let's point out about the music. A lot of the tracks in here are taken from Donkey Kong Country 1 itself, David Wise's tracks, and some of Evelyn Novakovic's tracks too. Those tracks that are being reused were rearranged by David Wise himself for this game, so it is the case that some of them are Evelyn's tracks that Wise is converting, but it's a lot of his own tracks as well. But anytime there's a new kind of level, which we haven't... Yeah, the ship decks is one, which actually use the Gangplank Galleon theme from the K-Rool boss fight, so bad example, but later on any other new archetype in the game is going to have a new music track with it, and those are all written by Graham Norgate, another in-house composer from Rare. He's done a lot of great work, kind of underrated, especially in the Donkey Kong Country series. Oh, I finally made it that time. I really should have frozen before that, but I've done it now. Yeah, so he did some cool stuff. He also composed for, say, Blast Corps, and if you are playing the original release of Blast Corps, the boss theme from this game is present in that game in the level Simeon Acres, I think. For whatever rights issues or something, they actually removed that track when they included the game in Rare Replay. So if you play BlastCon Rare Replay, you're not getting the full experience anymore. It doesn't have the track that originated from Donkey Kong Land. So we're back on another ship level here. And oh yes, here's another cool thing about Donkey Kong Land. It's got unique enemies. Hogwash is the flying pig guy, who we're going to see a bit more of. It's sort of a replacement for the Neki in the original game, probably for a similar reason why they changed the positioning of the Zinger, because I think Hogwash takes up a lot less space in its sprite. It's quite squat and, narrow or whatever. So yeah, I guess it doesn't take up as many sprite things and stuff. Okay, cool. I got that one up, but then I died. So yeah, having now entered another ship deck level. Oh yeah, this sprite of DK changing from one rope to another, that's got to be new, right? A lot of them will be, a lot of the sprites in this game and like the animations will be taken from those same, ACM, advanced computer modeling, 3D models that were converted into the pre-rendered sprites on the SNES. So they probably just pulled that hardware out again and rendered a few more sprites, but everything, of course, has been downscaled significantly. Alright, so I missed that jump. Bit of a shortcut there over these rope stanchions. I don't know what they are. Here's another new thing for Donkey Kong Land. Since we have more climbing like this, they've put slippers, the ordinary snake enemies that we have seen already, but they have a new ability to slide down a rope like this. I think I've heard some people being a little confused about that animation, especially us playing this as children. They weren't really sure what that was supposed to be, maybe some kind of fire traveling down the rope. But yeah, especially with this color patch and playing it on these modern emulators, you can tell what it's supposed to be, which is the snake curled around the rope. Oh, great. Yeah, bit of save state action there. No worries. Cool. Oh, that's weird, Ape. I'll catch up on the chat here now. Ape commenting again on the ship levels. The ship levels I also associate with being annoying during testing because my vertical palette update routine is a bit slow and sloppy. Okay. And Robert Gunderson chiming in the game. This game sort of reminds me of Super Mario Bros. Special. It's a lot like the original game, but with weird, interesting stuff thrown in. Yeah, I think I like it a lot better than SMB Special. Oh yeah, no. So that's a good point. I was in my head thinking of Super Mario Bros. Deluxe, but yeah, Super Mario Bros. Special is the computer port by Hudson of Super Mario Bros. That has a lot of new cool stuff in it as well. Yeah, I will say that all the level designs in this game are new and unique, and on top of that, even when it's reusing some things from DKC1, it's got a lot of new stuff too. So yeah, this is a really cool little project, and it makes me a little sad that the following DK Land games 2 and 3 took so closely from the original SNES games, when they could have all been full of fun new stuff. What was that? I was slightly above the blocker there. Wonder if I could have ascended with that. Okay. No. I tried, and I fell and died, so there's my hubris. Flew too close to the sun. Anyway, Ape goes on to say, responding to the thing about the Blast Corps track being removed, he says, it's weird though with Rare Replay because... Oh, thank goodness. Because they have a Donkey Kong 64 track from Dream as a bonus content, yet they had to remove the Blast Corps track. Yeah, that's really interesting. So, like, the Blastcore song is in-game, and they removed it. But they also have sort of features on unreleased games or games that changed a lot during development. So Project Dream was what Banjo-Kazooie essentially started as and was quite different to it. But some of the music from it ended up being used in Donkey Kong 64 eventually. And that's what Ape's referring to. So that's, yeah, pretty interesting. Strange. Here's a bonus I actually missed last time. We're back in the jungle, and those moving platforms, I should have stuck around, but the moving platforms you could see there, they were green. Ape was saying on the stream that every moving platform in the game sort of has the same object ID, so they all share the same palette. So he had to pick something that would fit a lot of different contexts. Oh yeah, nice. Just found a little secret area up here. It's not a bonus room, but it's going to give us some little goodies up here. Oh, and a checkpoint. Okay, a bonus checkpoint. I've never seen that before in any Donkey Kong Country game. That's really interesting. Like going on an optional path and being rewarded with a checkpoint for it. That's really, yeah, strange. Okay, so that was weird. I got hit by a zinger, right? But I have the DK barrel, which, by the way, is another new feature of this patch. The icon on the bottom of the screen to tell you if your partner is in reserve, that wasn't there in the original game, so Ape added that based on what exists in the following two land games and the Game Boy Color port of Donkey Kong Country. So another nice new feature. But yeah, it sort of tracks your Kong as they die, and you sort of sometimes have to land on a solid place in order to be respawned by that little whirlwind that brings the reserve Kong in. And if you instead fall off screen after being hit, you will immediately die, even if you have a Kong in reserve. So that's kind of unfair. Let's see. Yeah, Robert Gunderson, I totally agree with you there, saying I enjoy the bonus rooms taking you to different level themes. Now, optional levels. I'm going to talk about a few things that were introduced in this game that didn't really come up again until Donkey Kong Country Returns and Tropical Freeze, or at least were also used there. And having optional paths that take you to alternate levels is not a thing at all in the rest of the series until you get to Returns and Tropical Freeze. So because I blew up one of those rocks and not the other, it took me on one path, but you can backtrack to get to the other level that I skipped. So I'm going to do it. I want to do all the levels at least, even if I don't get all the bonuses right away. If I'm at the end of the game and I've beaten it, I'm still missing some bonuses, I will backtrack and try and get them. Because it's good to see all the content in the game, I guess, if I have time to do it. And as Robert Gunderson says, I enjoy the bonus rooms taking you to different level themes. And yeah, that's one of the cool things that, again, is I think pretty much unique to this game, is having the bonus rooms in in level themes outside of the current one that you're in. It's really cool. By the way, do let me know if the game volume is okay, because I do want to enjoy the lovely music tracks here. I think that the current track might be a new one for this game, considering that the track in the original game, Northern Hemispheres, I think by Evelyn, maybe didn't hold up so well in the conversion to chiptune, so instead they gave it a unique theme, similar to what happened with Forest Frenzy in Donkey Kong Country Game Boy Color, which I showed off previously in a stream. Yeah. Oh, cool. That barrel lets us skip the rope section. I like that. And it gives us a bonus. Lovely. So here we are in the Kremlantis background again. We're going to see more of that later with its awesome new music track by Graham Norgate. Looking forward to that. But yeah, I've managed to skip that whole ropeway. Very nice. Another cool thing about Donkey Kong Land that it has as an improvement over Donkey Kong Country is there's no golden animal tokens that interrupt your flow and take you to a separate stage. So what's the deal here? There's 2 different level exits. Do they do the same thing? One just had some more bananas, so if you skip the first one, you get a little bit of a bonus, and then you don't have to backtrack, I guess. Yeah, pretty strange. Okay, game volume's a little quiet. I'll turn it up a bit. Ape says those exits are the same. Okay, so the volume's a little higher now. You're welcome. Ape says, I will in fact be comparing our best times from my DK Vine stream. Not really. Good, because I'm not playing for speedrun here. Yes. Oh yeah, the mole boss. Yeah, so I'll talk about that in a minute, but Ape says that the speedrun strategy for the rocks is actually to get a bomb, take an intentional death, blow up the rock, and go back into the level from the checkpoint to get a second bomb. Wow. That's really interesting. Alright, so we had our jungle level before, again, reusing palettes from Donkey Kong Country Game Boy Color, although Ape said he tweaked them as well. Oh, I was going to try and ride that or just roll it, but never mind. Yeah, so Ape tweaked them to make them a little brighter and stuff. But here we have an example of Ape has taken the jungle and altered the palette so that now it appears to be nighttime, just the way that Donkey Kong Country had subsequent levels with different conditions like raining and transitioning through dusk and twilight. So yeah, that's a really cool thing that Ape was able to do with this color hack to give it a bit more visual variety. So yeah, very cool stuff. Alright, this keg has got to break down this wall. Yep, I knew it. Oh, that's cool. It's just a little shortcut. Is there a pickup here? No. Okay. Or a way out of that pit, actually. I didn't have another way out. But since there's a keg, it would bounce between the walls, whichever one you threw it at. So you'd always be able to get out of there. Man, Donkey Kong Land had some cool, crazy stuff to it. It's so unique. I really like it. I feel like I've missed something, but oh well. This is not yet a 100% run. So yeah, Robert Gunderson did bring up the point in chat. The mole boss reminded them of DKCR because, of course, there's a mole boss with a hard hat in both games. So, these I don't need the lives, so but I guess I'll try for it. You never know. I might end up using a lot. Yeah, all the Donkey Kong Land games only display your lives as a row of hearts along the bottom instead of giving you a number. So once you go over that, it's like 18 or something. It won't display, but you will have extra lives beyond what it's displaying on screen currently. Whoa, okay. Bit of odd momentum there. Somebody asked Ape if it would have been possible to... Yeah, did you see that? K-O-N-G, and the N is inside the N. Clever. This is the construction site background that we'll be seeing more of later in the game. Very cool stuff, referencing the original arcade title. Whoops. Well, that was stupid. Yeah, I don't remember what Ape's answer to that was, but we're stuck with hearts. Get used to it. And them having that red color is not a new feature for this game. When playing the game on Super Game Boy, oh, nuts. Not only do you get a very nicely colored title screen, which is replicated in this port. You can make that if the timing's right, but yeah. Yeah, the other thing you get when playing on Super Game Boy is, of course, the banana full border, but you also get the red colored hearts on the bottom of the screen. Okay. Whoa. Ape, it's been too long since I played this vanilla, but did you have to remove a heart at the very end of the screen there in order to fit the DK barrel icon in? Or was there just a gap there? Because what Ape's done with the HUD at the bottom of the screen is basically replicated what exists in 2 and 3. Oop. Yeah, he did a hack to remove 2 of the hearts at the end of that row. Cool stuff. Don't know what that icon is, but that's the end of that level. Robert's saying, getting 100% in this game mostly wasn't so bad, except for one in the last level of World 3, which I forgot the name of. Yeah, some of the Monkey Mountains levels are a bit difficult, and especially finding all the bonuses is tricky sometimes. Okay, Wild Sting Fling, the first boss of the game. Let's check out how Donkey Kong Land handled its bosses. And the first thing is Graham Norgate's amazing track for the bosses. This is the track that was replicated in, or remixed or rearranged or whatever, in Blast Core. But it's an excellent track even in chiptune form, or especially in chiptune form. I think the chiptunes in this game are amazing. But yeah, here we have essentially Flotsam from DKC2, although known as Wild Sting in this game and is a boss instead of a normal enemy. Jumping out of the water on the ship deck to attack you, but you can just bop it a bunch of times. You also get 3 bonus banana bunches at the end of every boss fight. A little feature exclusive to Donkey Kong Land. So yeah, I expect that this was a result of DKC2 already being in development and DKL maybe poaching 1 or 2 assets from it. The idea of the ship levels, I guess, but also, yeah, that sprite of the Sting, of the Ray, yeah, it's very much taken from DKC2. But who knows, maybe it's the other way around. Maybe DKC2 ganked it off DKL. Ape saying that the icon of the DK barrel in the HUD is a recolor from DKC GPC. Right, so this is World 2. Let me just check level list. Yes, World 2 is called Kremlantis. Oh no. It's happened again. I think maybe KIGB does not handle this screen properly and crashes. That's really unfortunate. Oh, I hope that doesn't lose me any progress. That sucks. Yeah, I tested KIGB. I was like, yes, works very well with this hack. Just, I guess, now I'm realizing, don't open that screen. Where did I save? Oh, thank goodness. I made a quick save here, so I didn't lose any progress. Anyway, Kremlantis, very cool. It's kind of set in the sunken ruins of sort of, you would see the temple stages in Donkey Kong Country. The ancient remains of the Kremling civilization that populated the DK Isles. And yeah, you can see what a cool job Ape did with the map screen here. A lot of the background is kind of maybe a little bit unclear of what it's supposed to represent, or broken up into, you know, different tiles. That's difficult to do. So what Ape did instead was had this sort of gradient effect with different palette layers along the screen. Because as we'll see as we go through this, some of the levels are above water and some are underwater, and it doesn't always correspond exactly to what's shown on the screen, or it's a little bit complex. So anyway, here's the temple stages. Very similar to what we already had in DK Country, complete with the music track as well. But you'll see as we progress that there's a few of these different ones, and Ape modifies the palette for each one to give them a different feel, which is very nice. Oh, that's nice. Ape says that the game actually autosaves itself after beating a boss, so that's very friendly. Okay, cool. Robert Gunderson wondering, how much of this game's art has uncompressed renders available? Interesting question. That might be difficult to track down, I'm not sure. But that does bring up a fun point to talk about, which is some of the sort of promotional renders for this game that exist. So we'll see later on a fish enemy that had a render distributed in magazines at the time. And let's see, did the manual have any of the unique enemies rendered? Of course, Hogwash is rendered all over the place. Even on the title screen, which you can see on the left and right of my stream layout right now. What did I say? The cover art, not the title screen. The title screen, of course, just has DK, Diddy, and Rambi, which leaves out one of the animal buddies who we will see later on. And I'll talk about the animal buddies mechanics later on as well. But yeah, one of the fun things about the promotional renders is that some of them show characters and enemies that aren't in the final game. Ugh, that happened again. Yeah, so like there's, I think, a kind of fish in a render that isn't in the actual game. There's a ram who I think the magazine speculated might have been an animal buddy, or no, I believe maybe Paul Makinchak or somebody else confirmed that later on Twitter. But sometimes you do get conflicting information from the devs years later on what was intended and what wasn't. But yeah, this ram has been given the name Rambunctious, and they think it might have been an animal buddy, but maybe not, who knows. Well, here's Rambi, so let's talk about that. Rambi works a little differently. When you take damage, which I can't show because the slippers can't even damage you, Rambi will stand in place instead of running off. DK. Which is nice. It's a lot more manageable for the Game Boy and for the player as well, which is cool. But yeah, riding an animal buddy is, of course, a big mechanic in the original Donkey Kong Country game. In the Donkey Kong Land games, to kind of get around the limitations of the platform, they always have you transform into an animal instead, so Land is unique in that you still get to ride them in this one. Okay, so now that we're in the first proper Kremlantis stage, we can hear Graham Norgate's amazing Kremlantis track. This is one of the standout tracks of the game, so maybe I'll be a bit more quiet in this level, but we've also got the new enemies, the big fish, and this, I don't even know what this is, some kind of bivalve that, there are bivalves that do this, kind of flap themselves to propel themselves through the water, so it's sort of like that. But yeah, it's an odd little thing. And another kind of fish, we have different fish, kind of the equivalent to, I guess, Chomps and Chomps Jr., or probably Bite Size for the small one, I guess. None of those aquatic enemies are going to be showing up in this game. We've got a whole new set of underwater baddies for DK Land. Oop. Just letting you enjoy the music a bit. And the chiptune's lovely, but I've also heard some really good fan remixes of this track, including, I believe, Jeremy Thorne did one for the old Donkey Kong, the old DK Vine podcast. The coloration on the smaller fish was chosen by Ape based on the real-life fish, the barred knifejaw. Ah! Nah? Well, that's tricky. Let's use our iframes to deboost through that loss. Clam. Not a clambo. Oh yeah, clambos are in this game, so it's not all unique. Anyway. Wow, we missed a few letters there. So, let me see. Just catch up on chat here. Yep. Oh wow, there's a lot. Sorry. Ape says Hogwash and Swirlwind come to mind as far as existing renders for the unique enemies of this game. And he also commented that he always found DK Land's title screen to be a bit odd looking. I agree. It Gunderson agrees it's slightly creepy. It reminds me of that one render of just the Kongs standing in a line facing you, and it looks especially strange because DK's there kind of hunched over. Candy is directly next to him, and she's like twice his height because she's standing up straight. There's a render, yeah, with them all in a row. Ape says, World 2 is weirdly paced because only the temple levels have bonuses and only one each. And Robert says, the same logic as DKC1. Water means no bonus areas. Indeed, indeed. But the temple thing is also a bit weird. Ape says, it ends up meaning that World 2 only has 2 bonus areas in total. Wow. While every other world is more even with each other. So yeah, that is really strange. Of course, I am of the general opinion that water levels are usually the least fun bits of the game, so I'm happy to not have to repeat them at all. But yeah, it does make this world feel especially unbalanced. I would show you what it looks like on the level list in the new menu, but that apparently crashes this emulator. But yeah, you can see there that how few bonus rooms are counted in this world compared to the other ones. Now, this archetype is the coral underwater theme being reused from the first game, and with a remix of aquatic ambience. But there's a few new flourishes. So this is our good friend Happy Crab. Just a little background character added to the environment that was given a name by the community. Very cute little thing. There's also the new starfish, which similarly... Oh gosh, so close to that DK barrel. Yeah, the starfish also hangs out on some rocks. Next time I see it, I'll show you that. And that's another minor new feature of this patch, is Ape added animation to the eyes of the starfish. Let's find one real quick. Hopefully we don't have to wait too long. This level must be long. Here's one. So we'll watch this starfish. Oh, get out of the way of this fish. This fish looks a lot like the bounty bass in DKC3. But if you watch the eyes on the starfish... Oh, that was close. They do move back and forth. So that's just a little fun extra that Ape added. Just a little bit of animation on that starfish. He wanted to do the same for Happy Crab, but Happy Crab is stored over multiple sprite tiles, and it would have been more difficult to animate them and coordinate them. Okay. Nice. Yes, thank you. So there's starfish. There was another Happy Crab back there. The reason that I had played through part of Donkey Kong Land already when I loaded it up at the start of the stream is because I was trying to find Happy Crab to see what it looked like in the default Super Game Boy palette that you would see when playing this game the way it's kind of meant to be played in its original form. Because I wanted to use the colors of Happy Crab as the basis for artwork I was doing of Krabby, Dixie's pet crab, in the Donkey Kong Country cartoon TV show from France that is never seen on screen, I guess because they didn't want to model the crab. It's sort of an invisible character that is just outside of your view or whatever. But yeah, I'm working on a pixel art right now that's all Kongs and all of their friends. It's an enormous project with a lot of different characters drawn on it, including some that we never see, like Krabby. Later on, Dixie has a pet lobster in a separate episode called Thermidor. And for that, I based its colors on the World 3 boss of Slam Dunk Kong, the giant crab. So there's some deep cuts for you. Okay. Yes, now, everyone, oh, sorry. Oh, gosh, it's a bit tricky to read chat and play this difficult level at the same time. I do not like water levels as much, I gotta say. Okay, nuts. So that's why I made that save state. So Robert Gunderson saying, if I remember right, Rambi only shows up in 2 stages proper, and Espresso only gets 1. The rest of the encounters are strictly in bonus areas. Which, yeah, interesting if true. I don't mind animal bodies being saved for only a few appearances. As Ape says... Well, first Ape says that he feels like Donkey Kong Land's water levels are actually pretty good. And then on Animal Bodies, the reason Espresso doesn't appear much is actually just that his sprite is too big. So the levels he is in compensate with less enemies for sprite real estate. That is fascinating. Yeah, good to know. Alright. Whew. That was a bit of a gauntlet. Let me see. Just checking my notes for what I can talk about next. Okay, well, I did start talking about... Ooh, Snake Charmer's Challenge. I did start talking about sort of things that Retro might have taken on from Donkey Kong Land and brought into DKCR, DKCTF. The branching paths is one thing, the mole boss is something that Robert Gunderson picked up on. I was going to bring up the fact that there are sort of shipboard levels, which you see a lot of in Beach and occasionally elsewhere. Oh, that's a bonus there. If you bring that TNT over and destroy the jar, then yeah, you can use that tire to bounce up into a bonus. What else? Yeah, Cliff was sort of a new world in DKCR. The rare instance of it not reusing something from DKC1, but actually Cliffs were in this game, so it was sort of reusing from this, in a way. But we're not up to that yet. We'll see Cliffs later in the next world. I was sure there was a barrel down there that I spotted for a bonus. Oh well, that gives us a chance at this. Oh, have I already... Yeah, here. Is it? No. Oh well. Nope. Never mind. Yeah, so the jars sort of existed in DKC. They were instead like little oil drums that continually spat out enemies, and then Boss Dumb Drum was a giant version of that. Oops. Nuts to that, I say. Yeah, for some reason they gave them a unique sprite in this game, which is nice. Also, those rolling boulders, I guess they're kind of the mini replacement for the naughty hamster wheels from the original temple stages. There were a few of them before, you know, the sort of rolling wheel that came down the hill at me. Hopefully we see another there. It's odd looking, but yeah, sort of unique to this game. Now what's that symbol supposed to be? Aha! This is a bomb barrel. By picking it up, that gives us the bomb to use on the map screen. And we'll use it here. Kaboom! Nautilus Chase. Oh, this is a good one. But just to catch up on chat, Robert Gunderson says, I also found this game pretty well designed for the most part. I just don't really like the slippers sliding down the ropes, certain critters that blindside you, and the occasional camera glitch. Yeah, if there's one big problem with this game, it's the camera kind of catching you out. Things are quite zoomed in because you're on a Game Boy, so it can be difficult to get past some of those enemies. Ape says, I think I can sort of forgive most of its shortcomings just from the positives that the unique level types bring in, making the experience unique. And that's something I'm definitely on board with. I agree with that 100%. Like, Donkey Kong Land 3 is a much smoother and more... it controls much better and everything like this, but I still think Donkey Kong Land is the most interesting game because it had ambition to introduce new mechanics and new level types, new enemy types, all this stuff is really cool. Gibbon saying that she thought that the rolling sort of boulder wheel thing was actually a snake basket rolling on its side. Huh. Ape corroborating this, actually. In some spots, they land upright, says Ape. Oh, that's fascinating. Yeah, I had no idea. Huh. Good to know. Thanks. All right. This level, very cool stuff. If you remember Croctopus Chase in the original DKC, it had those octopus, which are kind of based on the blue-ringed octopus of Australia, chasing you through the coral stages. This is the equivalent for Donkey Kong Land, but the Nautilus here, who... I think it has a name. It has a render. This one does have a 3D render. This is a unique element for land. This sort of Nautilus creature. It appears to have backed off. Okay, maybe there'll be another one later. But yeah, it's pretty relentless. Oh man. Here's the clams of this game, and they're gigantic. Much bigger than Clambo in DKC 1. Cool. Yeah, here's another one. So look at it pop out. Oh, lovely stuff. And then it chases you. But it's sort of more direct and homing in on you. It can even go through walls. So it's a bit different to how Croctopus worked. A bit more menacing, I would say. Very effective. Whoop. Yes, that's it. Ape informing me the Nautilus's name is Nemo. Yes, that was in the back of my mind somewhere, but thank you. It would have taken me all day to get it. To retrieve it. So yeah, it's sort of an action-packed chase level, and yet with the sort of relaxing background music of aquatic ambience. Oops. Bit too slow there. But yeah, a good strategy in these water levels is often to hug the ceiling, keep swimming up against it, and that'll help you avoid a lot of enemies. This is one of the levels in particular that makes me glad that there's no bonus rooms that I have to go seeking out while I avoid Nemo. Oh, there's a chomps in this game. There you go. Huh. So much. I've forgotten so much, even having watched a complete playthrough just yesterday. Maybe I just run my mouth too much. Make false claims. Oh, 2 Nautilus. 2 Nemos at once. Looks like I found him. Lol. Okay. This is a long one. Chomps. Possibly Chomps Jr. Oh. Dead end. This level has become a maze. This way? No. This way? Yeah. Oh, I'm going in circles now. Ape, where'd I go? Yeah, Ape saying this level is weirdly easy to get lost in. Uh-huh. Yep, it could happen to me, and it did. Aha! There we go. Stumbled on the exit. Ape a little bit too late with his advice there. Head towards the bottom. Okay, so here we're back at the temple again, but we can see a greenish background. Very nice. Very different. And we get another look at the swirlwinds, which are kind of an enemy in this game. They will damage you if you hit them from the side, but then you can infinitely bounce on the top as well. This is used in some platforming. Oops. Yes, I just thought I'd demonstrate the damage mechanic there for you. But yeah, Swirlwind is one of the obscure connections to other stuff, if I recall, because what is it? You get like blue whirlwinds in some other game. I think it's Saberwolf GBA, maybe. I'm trying to think back because I would have probably mentioned this in DKU honorable mentions. But yeah, it was another handheld team game. It might have been actually Conker's Pocket Tales now that I think of it. But Pocket Tales already had slippers and armies from Donkey Kong Country in it. Whoop, there we go. So yeah, they're a fun enemy in this game. Another unique feature. Okay. Found a little bonus there. And a secret within the bonus. Oh, tires, they're always tricky. Nice. Can't wait to get to the proper city levels. They're really a highlight of this game, I would say. And that world is all new archetypes, I believe. Right. Okay. Oh yeah, we should go and do that alternate level, right? The other rock disappeared at some point. Chomp's Coliseum. Does that confirm that it's Chomp and not Chomp Jr.? Is it Chomp or Chomps? Chomps. Well, either way. This game seems to imply that it's Chomp by this level name. Some of the level names, by the way, are kind of reused in a way, but we'll point that out when we get to them later. Another quick jaunt into Kremlantis before we finish this world. Whoop, yeah. Seriously, do check out Jeremy Thorne's rearrangement of Kremlantis, by the way. I don't know where you would get it now. I think it was probably linked on like the podcast episode that it appeared on, but that would be a long time ago. I don't even know if it's still up on DK Vine. Or if it was put anywhere else, you know. Like if we're lucky it'll be on Overclocked Remix or something, but... Oh, another bomb barrel. Interesting. That's weird. Alright, so now we're able to beat the boss. There's much fewer levels on this screen, but if you see a giant clam statue question mark on the right side of the screen, that'll give you a hint of who we're about to face in Seabed Showdown. But let's take one more second to admire the kind of mock Greek architecture of this sort of Atlantis-inspired world. Very cool stuff. Right, let's go. Oh, let's hear that Norgate boss track again. Lovely stuff. So here we have kind of a variant of Clambo, but as a boss this time. And you can actually defeat it. It'll shoot its pells at you. You bounce it off this other unsuspecting clam in the arena. And it'll bounce right back and hit Clambo. Or not Clambo, but I don't know if this particular clam boss has a name. I should have read the manual before starting today, but yeah. Well, how am I supposed to bounce that one? Come on now. Kaboom. I think one more maybe. Ugh. Nope. I'm dragging out this fight so we can hear the variations in the music. There we go. Oh yeah, that's something that Ape said about how the game tracks how the level ends, and he tied that to the time attack mechanic. When the music changes tempo, that's when it logs that you've finished that stage. Alright, so here we are in World 3, Monkey Mountains. I would show you on the menu, but I would crash my game. This is the site of a few new level archetypes as well as some returning ones. So here we've got the cave again with Cavey Shanty. What's the track called? Cavern Caprice? Or is that a level name? Ugh, I don't know. Every track in the Donkey Kong Country games has its own clever name, except for Mining Melancholy, which does not have a proper name. The Donkey Kong land tracks don't have official proper names either. They were named on Graham Norgate's website just with the kind of level that they corresponded to. I think probably Chad named them all as well as giving a name to Mining Melancholy and various other rare soundtrack songs. But yeah, if you ever see a reference to K. Rool's Acid Punk, that's a Chad McKenna special. I believe it is. What are some other tracks? There was like the one that's like a cave but higher is what he called the cliff levels, I think. Oh, what? My chat just gave me the message, welcome to the chat room. Thanks? I guess it reset. I hope it's still working. You never can tell with Tumblr's chat interface. Sorry. What did I say? Twitch. Not Tumblr. Alright, so here is a very particular thing that I watched Ape do and have to be very careful with. You push the tire to the left but not too hard or it'll roll down. And then you keep pushing it to the right. You avoid the Necky's coconuts, which apparently wasn't a problem right now. Push it fast across the gap, and then again. Avoid Claptrap. And then at this line of bananas, boom. Nope. Boom. And there's a bonus. Oh yeah, grab the G, don't get hit, and exit. That's the end. Yeah, I might have missed some chat if my chat widget disconnected. Just check that it's working. I tried to say test, but I wrote rest. Yeah, I haven't seen any chat since Ape said head toward the bottom. So if you said anything and I didn't read it, I apologize. Mountain Mayhem, and here is our next new archetype for the game, the cliffside stages. With the new track. Very nice stuff. Ape struggled a bit with the palettes in these levels because there's not much distinction between the floor and the wall and that kind of thing. But even just adding a little bit of color does help with these to distinguish interactable elements from the background. And they've already made the floors quite like light colored all on their own to distinguish them already, so that kind of choice carries over even into the colorized form, so that's cool. Okay, so what I missed was that Ape said that the Kremlantis boss is just called Giant Clambo, and yeah, Ape confirming the cliffs didn't lend well to new palettes, but yeah, even in a minorly modified state, it still is definitely an improvement on the original Game Boy game, that's for sure. So this is where Rambi standing still really does help. Getting hit by those boulders, he won't run off, which could be a hazard on these vertically oriented stages. But yeah, the boulders, they're a new hazard. We saw them coming out of the cave entrances back there, as well as just falling down from above the screen. Now I'm getting spooked. I think I might have already missed a bonus. Unclear. I'm definitely missing an O, so maybe. Oh, there's one. Robert Gunderson says, the somewhat OP Rambi. Yeah, if you can get him back so easily, it does make him feel more powerful. Okay, yes, we did miss one there, but that's okay. Here is another new level type, the Cloud Stage. Probably the most like abstract or fantastical of the Donkey Kong Land level types. You have these sort of strange constructions in the background with patterns on them, including the Love Heart cartoon boxer short pattern and other kinds of things. But yeah, it's really interesting. And you're like walking around on clouds. The track platforms are nothing new for Donkey Kong Country, because we've seen them in mines before. But yeah, the fact that they're floating around here on their own little self-propelled helicopter things, that's different. Oh, yeah, cool. But yeah, we can also appreciate another of Graham Norgate's music tracks here. That's true, Robert. The tracking platforms are definitely smaller in this game. Yeah, I have no patience for these stages, so I will be using save states more often. They're pretty hard, especially later on when you get the kind of the ones that you can move, you can change the direction of and stuff. It's tricky. We'll see. But yeah, these stages have never looked better than in this color version. I want some theories in chat on what exactly these big geometric shapes in the background are. Why are they here? Whoopsie. Hogwash. I think going back to the connections to Retro's games, one of Hyle's theories about some of the stuff happening in this game links to the Snowmads. The fact that there's end-of-level portals, you get portals in secret exits in Tropical Freeze with runes all around them and swirly patterns, which he connects to things happening in this game. The fact that Secret Seclusion is kind of floating up behind DK Island is something that he links to DK64 actually. But yeah, the fact that I don't know if it's just sort of implied in this game or if it's part of the manual's story, which by the way I'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, the fact that we're traversing different landscapes to what we saw in Donkey Kong Country is kind of attributed to this idea that we're not on DK Island proper anymore. We're in the DK Isles, a greater series of land masses that have different landscapes on them. So Monkey Mountains is a mountainous small island off the coast. We did see small islands in Donkey Kong Country GBC, housing the target shooting levels, like mode or whatever. But yeah, the idea that you kind of start off on DK Island's jungles and mountains, you go to the ship left over from... I shouldn't have hit that button. Never mind. Yeah, you go to the ship left over from K. Rool at the end of DKC, and I guess the implication is you're using the ship to then travel to other islands, or at least you're traveling through the ocean somehow through Kremlantis, swimming through it or whatever, which then takes you to this other island here. And Kremlantis does have above water portions to it in the temple stages too. And yeah, we end up in a place that is very unlike anything we've seen on DK Island in World 4. So yeah, the idea that the latter 3 worlds of this game are on separate islands is a fun idea that, even if not, either way it expands on the world of Donkey Kong by having these new areas to go to. Cool. Yeah, so about that manual plot, as Robert Gunderson says. Okay. So I wonder how much of this game takes place on DK Island besides the city, which is obvious. The manual's plot makes it tricky to link this to any canon, says Robert Gunderson. Yeah, I don't like using the C word, but the plot in the manual is very interesting and meta. So it goes. Cranky is kind of jealous of DK having had a successful game on a fancy new 16-bit game console system. And he says, oh, well, I bet you couldn't do it on an 8-bit system like what I had back in the day. Luckily, they had one around to check out because the Game Boy is an 8-bit system compared to the SNES being 16-bit. So what Cranky does is he proposes a challenge. He approaches K. Rool and says, hey, K. Rool, why don't you come and nick the banana horde again? Like, do it with my blessing, because I want to teach my son a lesson. And then he goes up to Donkey Kong and he says, you think you're so cool with all your pixels and your fancy graphics and stuff. I bet you couldn't do an adventure like that on an 8-bit system like the Game Boy. DK says, oh yeah, I could. And Cranky says, well, prove it. I've contacted K. Rool and he's got the bananas again, so go on your bike. And that's the plot of the game. So very strange, very fourth wall breaking, but very entertaining. Whoa boy, okay. So here's those platforms I was talking about. They change direction whenever they hit a wall outside of this kind of check-it area, or when you jump and land on them again, when they take an impact in that way. So it's very... it can be finicky at times, and yeah, it makes this level quite challenging. There is a secret warp exit right at the start of this level, so you can skip the whole thing, which I forgot to show off, but maybe if I remember, I'll show it after I beat the level properly. So you have to, if you're speeding, you can like hop around a lot more, or you can try and time it. So when you have to go at like, when you want to change its direction more, you wait till it hits a wall and then sort of you jump so that you're immediately landing on it just after it does that. Sometimes you need to do that to get through. Ugh. Okay. Oh boy. Anyway. Ape says, I've always found the way the worlds connect a bit odd. Yeah, they do connect directly, don't they? Because you can travel from... Sorry, this is one you have to time, because if you don't make that little tunnel, you just go around again. Yeah, you don't have any Funky Kong in this game or anything. Ugh. That sucks. If you just walk to the left, or to the opposite direction from the first level of a world, you just immediately are back in the previous world. So they're all directly connected in that way. Nope. Okay. Yeah, it's a hassle. This is one of the more memorable levels of this game because of how tricky this platform is to use and how kind of annoying it is. Yeah. So I've got to time this one. Yep, like that. Perfect. Yeah, you're right. Ape says it's best to roll through hogwash in this level. Indeed, but you usually end up having to jump after that, and then you gotta reorient your platform, and it can be a little bit tricky. But it definitely keeps you on track better to roll and then jump. Beautifully pink hogwash, says Robert. Oof. K? We're only up to the K? Are you serious? How long is this level? Oh boy. Yep, and that's another big reason why this level is infamous. It's incredibly long. I do have a turbo button, but I don't want to lean on it too much because... Wait. Okay, they really throw the letters at you very quickly in this stage, apparently. Yes, my reaction was identical to Gunderson's over here. I'm only at the K? Oh, nuts. It's alright. Oh, I forgot. The coming back after that damage also redirects the platform. And there's the G, so they really throw them at you in a row really quickly. Oops. Okay. Time it so you land on it just after it's changed from that side. Hogwash is so cute. I guess that's another thing that came back in Returns is pigs. Although Jungle Beat have obviously used pigs before that. But whereas they're enemies there, Professor Chops is your friend in Returns. But then again, they have pig enemies in Tropical Freeze, don't they? So we're back at the cliff. Oops. Oh boy. Ah, fine, fine. Landslide Leap is the name of this level. So yeah. At one point I was trying to do some research on whether music tracks that were rearranged for this game were then reused in Donkey Kong Country Game Boy Color, and I believe they were. The credits in DKC GBC include David Wise, as well as Evelyn Novakovic and Robin Beanland. And it could be that Robin Beanland's just there because he composed Funky's theme originally, and same with Evelyn, originally composed a lot of tracks in DKC that got reused. But the DKC team is actually listed separately in the credits from the GBC team. So that was kind of a piece of evidence in understanding that a lot of the tracks that David Wise originally composed in Country, when they were redone for this game, that was him redoing them. But I think we already know that from external sources as well. So yeah, Norgate's not credited at all for GBC. Which is down to the fact that he only composed tracks for this game for the new stuff that wasn't in the original Donkey Kong Country. Are you serious? Yeah, let's just skip that this time. Okay, dang it. It's one of those tricky critters. Yeah, I don't know where the information came from about that, but that definitely seems to be the case, is that any of Wise's tracks in this game were redone by Wise himself and some of Evelyn's. Whereas the new tracks were done by Norgate. Ugh. And Norgate is one of the ones who left the company at a certain point, worked with Free Radical, which was part of the GoldenEye Perfect Dark team. So you can hear his work on the Time Splitters games later on. Kaboom. Although I realized that he... Oh, I gotta get that. I gotta do this. Yes. I realized he worked on some of the post-Rare mobile games. Not ones that I was able to show off on my stream, actually, but I believe they're both Crash Lab ones, which is, you know, Martin Wakely, Lee Schuneman, and the other guy's company, post-Free Radical. So things like Twist Pilot and that Carnival Match 3 one that I don't remember the name of. It was pretty generic. You do get 2 chances at that. Robert Gunderson says, you have to wonder if Cranky ever thinks of Stanley, or if he's really just a distant memory. And Ape brings up Second Sight, which is also a Graham Norgate OST. I don't know what that is. Can you tell me more about Second Sight? So here's Espresso's time to shine in this game, as Robert was alluding to before. You have this one level as Espresso's Soul stage. And Espresso got a huge upgrade in this game because now she can do this. She can defeat enemies by jumping on their heads. In the original game, it was kind of a drawback sometimes to get her because... Sorry. I am calling her mainly because I associate the image of Espresso with the user Valentina on the DK Vine forums, who used Espresso's head as her icon. But I do believe Espresso is referred to with male pronouns in the manual, so, you know, just don't worry about it. Anyway, in the original game, you couldn't jump on enemies with Espresso, but here, Espresso can even defeat zingers by jumping on them, which is really handy. But, yeah. In DKC, Claptraps could walk underneath Espresso's legs, so you'd be sort of protected from them, but you couldn't defeat any enemies, whereas in this one, kaboom, killing all sorts of stuff. So, yeah, as Ape was saying before, Espresso has a huge sprite in this game, and therefore any level that they're in has fewer enemy sprites. Right. Oh yeah, I was going to say, there's no animal signs in this game because I think they were invented by DKC2. Instead, they just kind of shove you into a barrel and you get shot out without the animal coming with you. Oh, here we are at Hard Hat, the mole boss. Much like King K. Rool in the original game, you have to wait for him to throw his hat and then jump on the head. In this case, it's a mining hard hat. But yeah, again, something that returns maybe borrowed from for Mole Miner Max in the cave world. Yeah, very cool stuff. Nice little whack-a-mole boss fight here. Well suited to the enemy type. And the first completely original boss, I guess, because, well, you know, Wild Sting, in a way, is a reuse of Flotsam, which from a game that wasn't out yet. And Giant Clambo is just a Giant Clambo, although its mechanics are new. But yeah, Mole Miner, Mole Guy. Mole Guy, whose name is Hard Hat, by the way. Anyway, Ape saying about Second Sight, it's a sort of mystery game. You play as a guy with psychic powers who has amnesia and breaks out of a mental ward, has to slowly piece together what happened and how you got there. Sounds interesting. Oh, okay. Espresso's level is the one that Robert Gunderson had messed up in. As they say, that level had the bonus I only found by messing up a certain jump because it's so obscure otherwise. Right. This is World 4. Big Ape City. this is where it all comes together. This is the, like, this is just, yeah, this is really cool. It's where the arcade era meets the country era. In DK94, the Game Boy game released in 1994, which was a partial remake of DK Arcade and a whole bunch of new stuff too. Big City was one of the worlds there, and Big Ape City is taken to be a reference to that, and also, of course, to the original arcade game. The manual even has blurbs for each world, and for Big Ape City it says, you know, this city seems really familiar. It's a place where something else happened before. So it's implied as the, you know, the area where DK Arcade takes place and all that. So it's a really interesting thing that ties the continuity of the DK series together in an interesting way, although it's still a little bit vague about details. Who lives here? Do they still live here? Where is this exactly? How far away from DK Island is it? And yeah, I'm not really sure. But here is a really cool thing about Ape's patch. In the original Donkey Kong Land game, I've talked about Graham Norgate's new soundtrack and stuff, but there are 2 tracks in the game's data that aren't used in the game itself. So you can find these on the cutting room floor or places like that. Oops. Wow. Okay. That was rude. But yeah, these balloons are a nice mechanic too, new for this. Yeah, so there's 2 unused tracks by Graham Norgate. Ape, as part of the patch, restored these tracks. They're now fully functional and listenable in the game, and what we're listening to right now is one of them. These kind of skyscraper levels, they already had a track, but there's another track in the files that seems to also be for skyscraper. So what Ape did was he chose to put this particular variation, a completely unique track by the way, in on Balloon Barrage, since he says it seemed to fit the theme of that level. So we're going to hear an alternate track in later skyscraper levels, which was the one from the original game, but here we have the unused alternate track restored for the first time to be playable in the game. So really cool stuff. Thanks Ape again for the many improvements you've made to DK Land here, including that. Yeah, so let's see. Robert Gunnarsson says, it's also interesting that this is the final world, a nice setting for it. Yeah. Like I said, tying things back together, it's fitting, isn't it? But as Gibbon says, like they could have gone a bit further with the references or something. She suggests it would have been neat if they like put in people peeking out of the windows and such. Yeah, I've just dropped out of that bonus by accident, but that's fine because that's a return of that awful moving platform that I despise. Yeah, so that's the first skyscraper stage. That's the last we'll hear of this track. It was restored for that one level only. Kong Crazy is the next level. It takes place inside what appears to be a giant blimp above the city. And these these backgrounds are very strange indeed. It's really hard to make out what's exactly is happening to them because we have windows that seem to be looking into outside, but the background also scrolls. So yeah, I'm not really sure what's going on there, but I love this music track. This is one of my favorites from the whole game. Oh, that's a tricky one. I should have rolled under and then gotten over the claptrap, but this is also a level that has really interesting and unique mechanics to it. You might notice that I'm getting Kong letters very quickly in rapid succession in this level. It's not a long level, but they have a special function here. You have a machine. As they said on the DK Vine stream, they just explained it away by saying, oh, there's a machine, therefore it all makes sense. But yeah, the idea is you get as many Kong letters as you can, and then when you get to a certain point, they are converted from collectibles into platforms that you then use to get to the next zone. So it's really, yeah, a unique use of the of those collectibles in a new way. Really cool. Just one of the many things that Donkey Kong Land is doing to shake things up and be strange and interesting. And then the last set that you get count as the actual Kong letters. So I think I've just grabbed the end there. So, yeah. Oh, that's a tough one. I think we might skip that one. You don't actually need to get them all, as long as you have enough to make it to the next zone. See, now we can put these down. K-O. This one is uniquely in 2 parts, so N, but this gap is just big enough for us to get over with a roll jump. So you can skip that G. Cool, cool stuff. And there's part of our last set of Kong letters in the bonus room. Oop. Oh, there's another one. I missed the O somewhere, but I can grab this. Hopefully that's enough. Actually, that's the end of the level. So that's the set that will let you save your game. Right. Robert Gunderson says, imagine if the first K. Rool phase had you chasing him up a bunch of girders, just as a small reference. While Ape points out, there are girders in the construction site, though. And this is going to be our introduction to those construction site areas. Construction site fight. Love this. So here is where we see those girders. They're not red in this particular palette, but again, we've got a nice, lovely, unique track from Graham Norgate here. Grab the K, why not? We also have platforming or climbing on chains, which is another thing that you see a bit in DKC 2. Oops. Ugh. But yeah, on top of the NES bootleg Super Donkey Kong that reuses some levels from Donkey Kong Land, I think it's probably a good time to bring up King Kong 10 or Slam Dunk Kong, which is a game I've featured on stream before and is a really, really, really cool but extremely difficult DOS platformer that mixes the aesthetics of Donkey Kong Country with the mechanics of Michael Jordan Chaos in the Windy City. Well, its first 2 worlds... Yeah, I thought they put that mechanic in this game. Its first 2 worlds do kind of take from Donkey Kong Land in a way. They take place in construction site areas and a city, along with sewers. So in a lot of ways, and then they have the water world that is really ripping off the coral style levels in DKC, and then finally you end with a jungle world. But it really feels like a bridge between in addition to having these strange basketballing mechanics, it feels like a bridge between the arcade and country eras, even if unintentional. But you could say that it's entirely taken from country games in that the inspiration for those city stages could have been Donkey Kong Land. Yeah. Ape says that he made sure to colorize one of the girders to reference it, I think in the second construction site level, he says. Also, he says, I think these levels turned out well in colorization just because of how square the buildings were. Lended well to tiles, made all the different buildings stand out. Yeah, let's be sure to take note of that next time we do a construction site. Looking at the background. Okay, so this is a tricky level. Fast barrel blast, a lot of barrel blasting, not always my favorite. mechanic. Oh my gosh, 40 coins? That's gonna take ages. I'm just leaving. Yeah, I'm just gonna go back. I won't do that one. Oh boy, 40 coins. The potential for possibly 40 extra lives, although I would never be able to get all of them. Oh, you didn't notice that those are windows in the background, Gunderson? Yeah, I guess you could argue that they're just painted on, which would explain why they're not moving in the background is, I don't know. It would partially explain it, maybe. It's a little confusing. But yeah, I think we're supposed to be inside a blimp in these ones. Although I didn't note where this level takes place on the map screen. Oh! That sucks. Oh yeah, Ape says these levels were one of the more difficult to pass in the original Game Boy game, but brightening up the scrolling background in these levels really helped visibility, he says. Made it. On Barrel Blast levels, I sometimes like to save state between every barrel, just because it's so easy to make a mistake and die, lose all your progress. Alright, I saw that. I saw that. Yeah. Oh. Manic Minces. Oh, that's it. It was way too distracting originally, says Ape. Given says, my ex-wife purchased me a fake window to hang up in my cubicle during my first Microsoft contract. Maybe these are similar. That's funny, that's a good point. Could be. Yeah, and it does wrap around, so that level is positioned around the blimp. So yeah, nice attention to detail there. Skyscraper Caper, this is another... Oh, this is the one. This is the long level that took Ape a very long time to do. Oh, maybe not. Maybe it's another one. But this is a place, I'll save here. If you drop down here, you die. If you grab the rope, you can fall down. That is just Donkey Kong Land to a T. You're in a cool urban environment, which is, you know, completely unique to this game, never been done before or since in a Donkey Kong game. But you have these quirks of the engine that mean if you fall too far, you immediately die. That's the benefits and the drawbacks of Donkey Kong Land in a nutshell. Okay. This would be a good place to bring up Hat Kong, who is, I mentioned the unused fish enemy that you see in some renders from magazines, and Rambunctious, the potential animal buddy that didn't end up in the game. Oh, side note on that. There's a new fan game that is in development. I've seen a lot of screenshots of it and some footage of it in development. I really am looking forward to it coming out. It's called... Oh no, what's it called? It stars Kiddy Kong and has Chunky Kong as a supporting character. It's a real celebration of Kiddy Kong. It's kind of in the same wheelhouse as Donkey Kong Country 4 The Kong's Return, that fan game by the team, several of whom are based out in Brazil. So you might know their project updates are often written in Brazilian Portuguese. Anyway, I played all the available demos for that game on my stream during last year's Donkey Kong Country Splurge. Well, they're no closer to a release, apparently, or, you know, not that we've seen, but there's another game from a similar team with a similar idea called Donkey Kong Country The Trilogy, which put out a 2.0 version of their released fan game. That's what I'm going to be playing in 2 weeks' time. So look forward to that. It's a similar kind of taking the aesthetics of the country games and expanding on it, making new content in that style, and including all 4 of the playable Kongs from those games. Well, the Kiddy Kong project is similar, but takes a different tack by focusing on Kiddy Kong. Another cool thing it does, though, is brings back unused characters. It's got Rambunctious as an animal buddy. It's got Uncle Kong from the Japanese DKC2 strategy guide. It's got something else that I can't remember. So in Crosshair is the name of the enemy. I don't know where that came from, but Crackshot Croc in DKC3, there is an off-screen enemy that shoots at you. There's a render of like a flying robotic ape character with a cannon, similar to bazooka and carbine. And the implication is that it's that. But anyway, this project either is using that as a boss, or it's connected to a series of... Look, it's really hard to explain. Before this team was doing the kiddie game, or I think it was one guy at this time who was doing the animation, he made mock-ups of what boss fights of unused characters might look like in Donkey Kong Country games. And there's a battle with Crosshair. Right. So, this is the level that Ape was talking about where the girders are purposely coloured red as a reference to Donkey Kong Arcade. It also has an interesting mechanic where you jump on the buttons and that changes the positioning of the barrel to shoot you out. They use this to hide bonuses sometimes. I think I just missed one back there. But as Gunderson also says, this is also the breather level, probably to give players a greater chance to save before the last level. So yeah, that previous level I just did was a bit of a gauntlet, very difficult, takes a long time to get through. I actually didn't do too badly, to be honest, which I'm kind of proud of, but okay, I've just cheesed into that bonus. Yeah, that's where the lack of screen fade-outs from this emulator can be a bit disorienting. Yeah, so this is a mechanic you really don't ever see again. DKC2 does have some different ways to interact with blast barrels, but this one you don't really ever see outside of DK Land. Okay. Oops. I really don't need to defrost my save there because I'm right next to that midway there on my save, but it's a little bit quicker to hit that button. Oh well. That was the most roundabout death. Yes, it was. Okay. And that's the end of the level. It's quite short too, so like you say, bit of a breather after that previous skyscraper one. But it's not actually the last level before the final boss. We still have Oil Drum Slum. I didn't mention it before, and I can't look at a level list, but Spiky Tire Trail is in this game. There's also a level called Tire Trail. Pothole Panic is a level in this game, which later got reused as a title in DKC3. Just two level name trivia things to point out. Which were brought up on Ape's stream from previously. Right, Hat Kong. I was talking about Hat Kong before. I don't actually think Hat Kong is in the Kiddy Kong project, but it reminds me of that because it's another instance of an unused Kong that has this sort of ephemeral existence. This level is not my favorite, says Ape. Yeah, I remember you talking a lot during that stream about the color of the flames coming out of these oil barrels. Because of the palette, they share a palette. They couldn't be colored separately. So as a consequence, you have the gray barrels, which is perfectly natural, but you get gray fire coming out of them, which looks a little strange, but it's fine. Oh yeah, oh wow. I can't believe I fell that far and didn't die immediately. Looks like I wasn't giving Donkey Kong Land enough credit. Anyway, jumping on these awnings is really fun as a platforming. Okay, there was definitely an awning there that I should have landed on. I take it all back. Donkey Kong Land has earned my ire once again. Okay.
But yeah, Robert Gunderson pointing out that the oil barrels, the oil drums being here, are probably yet another arcade reference. And yeah, that's a good call. Of course, the oil drums are in the original game, Donkey Kong Country and the Factory World and other places. But specifically putting them here, with these other places that are construction site oriented and stuff. What the heck was that? That was a weird jump that I got there. Oh yeah, the awning. I forgot. Yeah, putting them here seems apropos for the arcade era kind of theming. So yeah, good stuff. Anyway, Hat Kong. Can I finish talking about Hat Kong, please, brain? Stop distracting me. So among renders of the fish, the rambunctious character, oops, things like that, you have this strange image of a gorilla wearing naught but a hat. Only a simple pork pie hat on his brow, and no other clothing, of course, as is the ape's way. Speaking of Ape, he did complain about some of these jumps being a little bit blind. You couldn't quite see the flames until you were getting closer to the barrel during your jump, so it's a bit tricky. But yeah, Hat Kong. People have long speculated about the purpose of this strange Kong. Was he going to be in the game? What was his role? He kind of looks like he might fit in the city because the hat looks like something like an office worker might wear or something. I don't know what the justification for that was. It kind of gave off a, I don't know, 1920s Chicago vibe or something. But anyway, this Hat Kong character, it does not have an official name, so there's a lot of debate over what to call this strange gorilla. I do favor Hat Kong because I think it's the most stupid name. It's the funniest because it, like, literally a hat is his only distinguishing feature, so it's fun to just call him Hat Kong. Other people favor City Kong, by assuming that he was meant to be fitting in with Big Ape City, or Commuter Kong in a similar vein, which I don't really know where that came from and doesn't fit any kind of naming scheme. At least City Kong has the same Donkey Diddy Dixie cranky ending with E thing. But yeah, I think what came out about that was that some of these renders were just made by members of the art team who were practicing. They weren't meant to be used in the game at any point, but they were just sort of scratch models made to practice on the 3D modeling software. Whether that's true or whether they could have been used but were cut, whatever's more accurate, I don't know, but yeah, Hat Kong is a legendary figure in the Donkey Kong community, I'll say. Anyway, Hat Kong's cool. But Tony's in chat. Hello, Tony. They're saying, I might play this on my Discord, because it makes Donkey Kong Land look actually playable instead of impossible. Yeah. Okay, so we are excited. We're anticipating this final stage, and we have been going for almost 2 hours, so looks like I won't have the chance to backtrack through all the levels and get all the bonuses. If you want to see that content, go check out the DK Vine stream. I guess it's on Twitch for now. It's probably going to be put up on YouTube at some point, but it's not there. And I say that, but they have a lot of backlog of streams on Twitch that aren't on YouTube, so I don't know. Go watch it on Twitch while it's there. I'll link it in the description. Right, so shall we bust K. Rool's bonds? K. Rool's Kingdom, the final level. Let's go. Uh-oh. My controller just ran out of batteries. Fantastic. I can fix that. You can just enjoy Bonus Room Blitz for a minute. It's too bad Simeon Segway didn't get a look in for the map screens. That's alright. Let me just unfurl this cable. It's all K-Rool's fault that the bonuses were missed. Let's knock him out. Ape saying, I definitely want to archive that one. Yeah, that would be a good one. Given laughing us a wired controller user. Thank you for the good luck message, Tony. Gunderson saying, I like the way this rendition ends right before the loop point. Okay. My controller works again. Let's take down K-Rool. K-Rool's Kingdom. I'll say it before we begin. This is another unused track that's been restored. The K-Rool boss fight was supposed to have unique music different to the other boss music in the game. In the final game, he has the same boss music as all the other bosses, so enjoy the track here. Oop! Already taken a hit. The crown gets a nice lovely golden palette when it's left his sprite there. But yeah, the mechanics here are pretty similar to the original DKC1 battle. Bop! But you will notice that K-Rool looks a little bit, shall we say, small. Another one of these Game Boy sprite limitations, but K-Rool ends up being actually smaller than Donkey Kong, it looks like, which is very strange for him, but it's just a funny quirk of this particular game. Pop. Tony saying, you will lose. How rude. Oops. Okay, never mind. Gunderson says, he's quick and nimble when he needs to be. I acknowledge that reference. And it made me chuckle. Yep. By the way, this is taking place inside the blimp, which implies that it's K-Rool's blimp, because the level is called K-Rool's Kingdom. But the blimp has DK written on it. Maybe he did that as a form of camouflage or something. This boss is pretty easy until he starts having unpredictable jumps. Well, don't spoil it. Oh! There's the jumps. Yeah, I think the reason your name has first on it is because you did that thing. That Twitch thing. The affiliate thing. I don't know. Because you subscribed or something? Or did the highlighty thing? I don't know. Yeah, hopefully we get there soon, but Ape's saying that he got lazy with the credits and didn't give it its own unique palette. It just keeps the palette from the level. Yeah, that's fair. That's fine. Yes, Tony, you own me. That's my #1 patron. I owe you everything. Also, Gibbon has a 1 on her name, so... Yes, I'm using save states in the middle of the fight. Don't judge me. I have 2 firsts, apparently. I don't know why. Yeah, whatever. Oh! Yeah, so this is the tricky part. Now, won't you rhyme with me? Who needs the quickie mart? So, K-Rool jumps when he gets close to you, I believe, so you just have to be careful, and I think you're always able to run under him as a consequence, as long as you have enough momentum in that direction. And you don't jump yourself, you don't get baited into it. So, in a way it is predictable, but as long as you're like aware of his behavior during this phase. See, I just tried to jump over him out of instinct, but that's not what you do in this phase. Oh! Yeah. Yeah, so Gibbon and Gunderson here, saying that this fight goes on a bit too long and that it has the same issue as DKC3's second K. Rool fight. He could have used a third attack, but you got to be ready for when he throws the crown again, like that, which did catch me out. Okay. Oh, he's definitely increased his speed there. Is that it? No! I turned around to see him fail, but it caused my own failure. Okay, save scum mode activated. Yeah, he doesn't even have like a cannonball attack or anything to mix things up. Just bop. Nope. Bop. Is that it? Nope. A little more. It is very long. I don't know how many hits it is. Too many. Boom! There he goes. K. Rool's kingdom is down. And the final joke of all. Congratulations. That's the ending of the game. That's what you get. You get the single word congratulations with a full stop. That's it. But yeah, here's all these lovely, lovely people who made the game. Unique for the Game Boy. We've seen a lot of names that I've already mentioned today there. Too many, too fast to bring them up again. But yeah, Paul Makachek, Martin Wakely, Kerry Gunn is there as well. Andrew Collard's there. Yep, that's a name that you'll see on other stuff. Graham Norgate, all them people. Good on them. And that's the end. Woof. Okay. No, Tony, I can't say Vexen is the best Org 13 member because I don't know what it means. Chat. Ape says, at this point I played this so much during testing, I think on the DK Vine stream it only took me like one go. Lol. Yeah, and Robert Gunderson echoing, congratulations, full stop. Thank you so much. Putting it in DK land cadence is the perfect kappa. Yeah, and pointing out, even if you get 100%, all the bonus rooms in this game, you still only get the congratulations. The message does not change. Yes, you're right, I did say it anyway. That's how I tricked myself. Yeah, there should have been a rant from Cranky, but Cranky doesn't exist in the game itself. In fact, no other Kongs do. No Hat Kong, no Funky, no Candy. Yeah. So I'm going to end it there. I didn't get all the bonuses, but oh well. I hope I've done a good job showing off how cool the new patch is. If you want to use the level list feature, do not use KIGB, use a different emulator. But yeah, you do get some strange sprite tearing graphic issues in certain emulators. So just experiment with a few different ones, find out what looks the best to you, or if you can cope with the issues, then go for it. But now that Ape has done all this work on this, this is the definitive way to play Donkey Kong Land. It's such a great enhancement to the game, and it's what I always wanted for it. Just being on the monochrome Game Boy, there's limitations to the colors there that make it more difficult than it should be to play. But this really does improve the experience immensely. So thanks so much for doing it, Ape, and I really appreciate you being in chat as well to chat along with us as I played through it. So thanks for that. And yeah, check out this patch. And I'm gonna say it because I don't know if Ape wants this public, but he is working on a Donkey Kong Land 2 colorization patch as well, and having an easier time of it than this one. But look forward to that in the future as well. Yeah. At which point we'll have all 3 of the Land games in full color, because of course Land 3 was released in Japan on the Game Boy Color natively. But again, in that case, a fan patch gives you a better experience, restoring some lost animations and stuff. Yeah, Ape says, playing on the 3DS Virtual Console emulator is highly recommended. If you can do that by homebrewing your 3DS and then injecting the ROM into there, that's the ideal way to play, according to Ape. And yeah, that would be a great way, because it would still be handheld like it was originally intended to. Yeah, if you have a Game Boy Color flash cart, you could do that. Tony saying maybe someday people will make unauthorized copies of it, or like what you call them, repros perhaps. It'd be crazy to see someone bootleg my work, says Abe. Yeah. Are there services that do custom repros? Like you can give them a ROM and they'll make it? I don't know. Anyway, I was very glad to show off this enhancement to one of the most unique and underrated Donkey Kong Country games, and especially the work of a single dedicated fan, Ape, in doing all the work to improve it and make it feel like a proper Game Boy Color experience, even though it's really not designed for that at all. So, yeah, that'll do it for this week. Yeah, Gibbon and Ape both saying that there are custom repro services, but I don't know anything about that, so just know that they exist. Right, so if there's nothing else, that'll be all for this week. Thanks for watching, and next week I'm back on the fan games trail, playing some Donkey Kong Country fan games that I randomly found on itch.io, and then after that will be a full play of the other fan game that I was talking about before, Donkey Kong Country The Trilogy, a sort of new widescreen game in the style of the country games. Yeah, so until then, stay safe, let's try and stay happy, be good to each other, and bye. My voice is giving out. See ya.